Let's talk about how to optimize your images on your WordPress website, which is going to be one of the best things that you can do to speed up your website. So let's jump in here. Images are by far one of the biggest drags on your WordPress site. We've seen images that are, 5, 6, 10 megabytes. We could get those down to 1% of what you upload them as just by using simple tools to compress them. So we want to compress the images, remove all that wasted data. We want to make sure if you're serving an image that's huge on desktop, that huge size doesn't translate to a mobile phone where it's not being used and it's just slowing things down. We also want to make sure that you're serving these images in Google's preferred next-gen format, which is WebP or AVIF images. They're 300 to 400% faster. All you gotta do is convert your images from PNGs or JPEGs to those. So you don't have to do this stuff manually. There are lots of plugins out there that help you do this. Some of the ones that we like to use, Short Pixel, Magnify, and Smush Pro specifically, the one that we prefer. So what these plugins do is they will compress the images automatically every time you upload a new one. So you don't have to go and upload it to tiny PNG every time before you upload it to the site. It does automatically. So you want to set your image compression level very carefully, because if you have an e-commerce store, this can make your images blurry or grainy, which we don't want. So test it out a few times, especially on, I recommend, to all of our customers when they do try to do these optimizations on their own first, always on a staging environment. You can always go back on a staging environment and say, ooh, that didn't work. I'm not going to convert that to live. But it's a lot harder to do that once you're on the live site. Then things are messed up. So you can bulk optimize all the images, go grab a coffee. It'll work on its own. Most of these do require pro versions. I mean, most speed optimization plugins in general, the free ones usually don't offer everything that you need to speed up the site properly. Now, lazy loading, just to explain very briefly what lazy loading is. Lazy loading means when you load the page and you scroll to that image, it takes a few seconds to load in. Now, usually once you start scrolling, the image will pop up as soon as it comes into frame, but you want to make sure that images below the fold, which means below what the user sees when they initially load the website, you want to make sure you're only loading below the fold images. Because if you're loading above the fold images in your hero section, that could cause users to not see those images. And it would cause a bad user experience in that case. So you want to constantly test on Google's PageSpeed Insights, on Lighthouse. You want to make sure that what you're doing is working properly. And usually Google's PageSpeed Insights, which uses Lighthouse, will tell you if your images are properly optimized and after you've gone through those previous steps. So obviously, image optimization plugins are great. You want to make sure you also have a proper caching plugin. We like WP Rocket and a CDN setup, so your users can get a pre-rendered page from the closest server to them. We like Cloudflare as our CDN option. So if you are struggling with any of this, or you just don't want to deal with speed, we get that a lot, and that's why we started PageSpeed Matters 6 years ago. We've helped optimize over 1,500 websites since then. So head over to pagespeedmatters.com and grab a free audit. Thanks for watching.